All right, so now you're here and whatnot, but first we're gonna do something. We're gonna close Launchpad, and I'm gonna teach you how to open up your mod. So you're gonna go to Launchpad, and then you're gonna click Open. You're gonna navigate to your mod. If your mod isn't here, it sometimes acts up if you change the file destination. Click Open Other. Navigate to your documents or wherever you had it saved, and then click it there. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna open up the mod, and then it should be here a lot. I have a lot of mods that I have so. Anyways, we're gonna go through how to save and edit and create your own map. I'll go through the Spark editor first. So what you're gonna want to do is go into the Spark editor by double clicking. You're gonna pop up with a bunch of stuff like this. Now actually the default view is gonna be something like, one sec. The default view I believe is going to be this. Okay. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. We'll just I'll just get rid of all this stuff. So then I can show you how to add that stuff in case you don't have that. But what you're gonna want to do is you need to click this and go to, no, you can't do it in here. You're gonna go to View. Where's that? Viewport. You're gonna click Maximize. And that's gonna pop up with something like this. I like to have my perspective view bigger than the rest. And I also like to have my layers and groups clicked. All right, so then you got your layers and groups. And I'll show you what layers and groups do in another video or something. But right now I'm going to run through the basics, okay? So you got your line tool. You can draw a line. You can draw like a weird shape per se. Now this, look at that. You got a weird triangle. Okay, it's like a lot of other editors. You can draw stuff like that. But it's a bit picky when it comes to pre-existing geometry. So if I have a wall like this, the scale tool, I should probably okay, so the scale tool is here. This is going to help you scale it, big or small and whatnot. You got the rotate tool. You can rotate it and whatnot. You got right now snap. Snap is usually default. I recommend using snap. If you don't want to use snap, like you want it to be, say, right. Actually, one second. Let me coarsen the grid a bit. Or not coarsen, I think it's, yeah, it's coarsen, to make the grid bigger. So as you can see, the grid on this side, this is what it's going to snap to. So right now, I have it to where it's snapping about half. You want to use the dev texture when you first start out. It's really helpful. So I'm using the half. Well, I want it to be a square. I want it to be the full square. There we go. Now, what if I, say, just want it to be a bit off, and I don't want to just make it to where it snaps to grid? What you're going to do is you're going to hold left Alt instead, and it's going to allow you to do this. It's not going to snap. It's going to counter the snap. It does it a lot of programs do this, I've noticed. But it's very useful. And then if I let go, it does the snap to grid. So it's snapping right there. Another neat tool is the move tool. So what you're going to do is this. Just like moving anything else. This, oh, wait, I have two? What did I do? One sec. Let me just do some Control-Z's here. I guess I created two by accident, or it looks like the editor is playing tricks on me. Huh. So right here, this is a glitch that happens with the editor. For some reason, it will act up and do something like this. If that ever happens, just save. We're going to actually save this in our mod. You don't want to save your map in the same folder. You're going to go to the folder you built it, and then you got output and source. Go to source, and if you're doing a map, do maps RC. We're going to call this YouTube map. Okay? So what we're going to do, and then I'm just going to go to file, save, and then I'm going to exit because it bugs out. So I'm going to reload editor. Yeah, and then I'm going to go to file, open. Now it usually goes to your most recent. It usually goes to your recent, but just in case, you just navigate to the file again. YouTube, source, maps, YouTube, and then you open. As you can see, that little graphical glitch is no more. I don't know why it happens. If anyone knows how it happens and they're watching this video, then please enlighten me. But this is basically what we're going to do. So now we're going to use something called the Extrusion Tool. Now the Extrusion Tool is this tool right here. And what you're going to do is it obeys the snap and it pulls a room. So if you go this way, it's going to make it a huge block, okay? Now we're just going to Control Z. We're not going to do that. If you do this, it's going to hollow it. Okay, so if you go at it from the front, it's going to make it to where it's a block. If you go at it and push it behind, it's going to make it so it's a room. See? Now everything in the map editor, you're mostly going to use the extrusion tool to make rooms. We're just going to use this as an example, and we're going to create a ready room because I want my map to be able to be testable. Okay? We're not going to do anything fancy or whatnot. We're just going to create this room. So what I like to do is I like to create a layer for each thing. So usually 4 layers. I'm going to call this RRGeo. I'm just double clicking, and I'm actually going to color this red. I'm going to have every geo called red, and then we're going to do we're going to do ready room props. We're going to color that orange. It really doesn't matter what color, it's just color coordination very useful. Ready room lights. These are all stuff that mainly every room is probably going to be having in your map, and you want to be able to easily access, because what it does is it creates a group, kind of like it is called a layer because groups are different, but it's basically a group of like objects. So I'll show you later. But we're gonna do ready room. What's the next one? Geo, props, lights, and entities. There we go. Ents. I'm just gonna do ents because I like to not type that much. We already have yellow. Let's do green. Okay. Oh, that's gonna bug the crap out of me. I don't know why I did that, but we're gonna have to. All right, there we go. So what I'm gonna do is double click is gonna grab anything that's welded together. So right now I extruded this, so this is all part of the same object. So if I double click, it's gonna grab that. Now, if I did something like created another rectangle that's not connected, like this, and I double click, it's not gonna grab that. It's only gonna grab stuff that was created together. So if let me Control Z, because you know, I love key bindings. So if I if I grabbed it and created it like this, is that welded? That is. Stupid Spark. So Spark is really weird. It will, for some odd reason, it thinks I'm trying to do an angle when I don't want one. It's very annoying. Also, another issue, if you want to cover up a hole, gosh, one sec, why is it doing this? You know what? I'm gonna do something real quick. So I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna move this because this isn't. If you look at the top view over here, we're gonna zoom out. Oh, by the way, how you move around is you're gonna be holding right click and WASD to move around, and shift is going to be just like a sprint. Okay, so that's actually how you're moving around. Sorry, I didn't tell you that. I completely forgot about that. But basically, yeah. And then this is your top view. Okay, so this is literally just like the bird's eye view of this. But one of the issues is, what was I talking about? I forgot. But anyways, as you can see, this is like, it's not on the grid if it's like this. So when I try and create a shape connected to it, it's going to grab it from a different, this is so annoying. Anyways, it's going to grab it from like a weird area. It's not going to try and grab it from there. Like, I want it to go to this piece right here, and it's not gonna like me because it's like, hey, you idiot, you won't snap the grid, but it's not on the grid. So basically, if you're gonna use grid a lot, just grab it and then just move it like that. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna snap it to the grid, so you're all good and dandy. It looks like this is actually going to be a bit too off-centered, so I'm gonna just make it a perfect square. We're gonna grab scale tool and scale like that. Okay. So now the difference between me doing that and just instead of grabbing the whole thing and just doing this, watch what happens when I do this. Okay, what it's gonna do. It's only gonna grab the top. So the bottom, it's right here. So it's gonna look like this. Now this is really nice if you want it to look like that, but if you don't, it's gonna be really annoying. So what you should just do is this and this. Now once you do that, of course it's gonna just say, oh well, you want it like that. When I don't. So just make sure that when you do it, you double click it. And you move it like that if you want. Another thing is going to be the trim tool. Now the trim tool is really cool. I like it. Tacky doesn't, but you know, I don't know why. I like the trim tool. But basically what you're gonna do is there's actually a video I can give you a link to. You're gonna grab it and you're gonna do this. It's gonna do the same thing. It's gonna snap to grid. So as you can see in the top view, it's going to be snapping to the grid. So you got something like that. Okay. So basically what this is gonna do, it's gonna allow for easy trims. There's a texture called trim. I'll get into that later, but it's just really useful. Okay. And then if you want to make this say go down or something like that, just grab it and move it. It's welded together, so it's gonna move alongside. Okay. That's about the basics of Spark, I'd say. I can get more in depth if you guys really want me to. I'm guessing most of you have learned. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments and I'll try to answer them the best of my ability. Um, I think I have the one of how to make a map testable and whatnot. I still have that. I can redo that if it needs to be. But thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you guys in your modding.